Welcome to the Collective Genius Podcast, the show for real estate investors who are looking to scale.
Welcome back into the Collective Genius Podcast, a live version. We're here in Dallas, Texas for our CG Select and Elevate events. And today you've already seen a couple of our presenters that have gone on stage. Our next guest is going on stage real soon to drop some knowledge to our Select and Elevate groups. Mr. Marcus Crigler, friend of the show. This
Absolutely.
Isn't your first time.
No,
Welcome
sir.
in. Good
Appreciate
to see you.
it.
So Marcus flew in from Springfield, Missouri, just to present to the Select group. We love this when our premier and longtime members come down to our Select and Elevate group and give as much wisdom and knowledge as they possibly can. I know our Select level and Elevate levels love it. Give us a preview of what you'll be talking about on the main stage today.
Yeah, well, I think today it's going to be a very similar presentation that I actually did before the Select group was even created. So this was back in 2020. I did a very similar presentation and actually won this belt right here. Maybe not that exact one, but a belt very similar to it. And that presentation was all about the 10 financial principles that are helping real estate entrepreneurs succeed in today's market. And that was 2020, 2021. But the shocker about that is it hasn't really changed that much. I know the market has changed a lot, but what is creating successful real estate entrepreneurs has not changed. And so that process we're going to talk about today, because the reality is this, and what I've figured out as I'm going through and as an accountant, so a little background, I'm an accountant, so I get to see a lot of the numbers. Like, you know, we talk about deals, we come in these rooms, we talk about all the deals that they're doing, but what really matters is translating that to profit. And so what I found is, as I've worked with so many of these people and seen which ones are actually making the most amount of profits and not, is there's a process to it. And it's not a process based on the economy, it's a process based on your economy. And so if you get an understanding of how to manage your economy, it doesn't really matter the rest of the economy. And you can just make that financial peace goal that you're looking for, that everybody's looking for. I like a lot of people talk about financial freedom. I like financial peace, right? Like, let's just get to some sort of peace in our finances. And I think that process is what we're going to talk about today.
That presentation that won the belt, you turned it into a training call as well, an hour-long presentation. I like to call it the 10 Commandments for real estate investors. When I am onboarding new members at any level, I always say to them, here's a presentation in the portal that just add it to your to-do list. Sure. A presentation to watch. Here's why I love it. It's a formula from a financial guy that does the books for the top real estate investors in the industry. And part of that is, here are 10 things that I see that are common. Like, people come to these rooms to learn what others are doing at a high level. And to me, there's no better blueprint in all of the presentations that have ever been done. If I had to boil it down to one presentation, if you watch no others, watch this particular one. Why is it, and maybe you're not able to answer this question, why is it that so many people struggle with the basics, the 10 commandments of that presentation? Why do you think people struggle so much as an entrepreneur with that?
Well, I think, first off, most people are in their own way as an entrepreneur, right? And so what I mean by that is, and I think Tom Kroll says this, and I like Tom a lot, but he talks about how, businesses are not complicated. Running a business is not complicated. It's the people inside the business that make it way more complicated than it has to be, right? And we can prove that, right? I mean, how difficult is it to wholesale one property? It's really not that complicated. But when you add a team and when you add a bunch of people to the process, now we used to be able to make $30,000 wholesaling one property, and now we're struggling to make $30,000 for the month, right? Because we've got all these people and all these processes. And so I think what people do, and entrepreneurs in general, not just in the real estate space, but they overcomplicate the simple. And I think the more we can get back to the basics, the blocking, the tackling, doing the simple things right, the more complicated things get a whole lot more easier.
Do you mind giving a preview of some of those, like 2 or 3 of the blocking and tackle financials that you'll cover today in your presentation?
Yeah, so I think it all comes back down to how you handle money as an entrepreneur. See, we talk about deals, we talk about acquisitions, we talk about leads, we talk about all these things, but really those are all side effects of what we're really trying to do, which is get money, right? But we don't talk about money that much in our organizations. And, and quite honestly, in life, we don't really talk about money that much. I don't know how you were brought up, but I know in my family, it was kind of, we just didn't really talk money. It's taboo to talk money. And so what I think the simple thing is, first off, you got to just respect money. You got to understand that this is the thing that whether you like it or not, it is the thing that creates the financial piece that you're looking for. So you've got to attack it. And so how do you do that? How do you treat money the right way? Well, first off, you take care of it, right? When you have $1, you don't just get rid of that dollar. You got to make a decision on what the best use of that dollar is. And I think so many times early on, we get that dollar and we feel like we need to go put it back out into marketing or go hire another person. But really, what the best do is they put that dollar in their pocket. And then they get another dollar and they put that dollar in their pocket. And then they wait until they're stable, right? And once they get stable, that's when they have the ability to start investing in their business. And that's when they can start doing step 2 and step 3, which is, hey, I can invest in this person. I can invest in this marketing channel. I can take a chance on something that may or may not work because I've got the stability, the foundation to be able to take that chance.
It sounds to me like it's a formula to the real estate entrepreneur that stays slim, thin, lean is the word I was looking for. I used all of them, but lean. The entrepreneur that wants to stay lean for a long period of time until they've gotten the stability to get to that point to truly scale. That is this level that we're at today. These are people that are generally in the business roughly 5 years on the average, usually $1 million to $2 million in that range of gross profit. The net, that's the biggest difference. And a lot of that's because some have tried to scale faster than others. But I will say one thing that has made me proud just in the short amount of time that we've been today, first day of CG Select and Elevate. You know how many times I've heard the word net at this meeting already? Like people are starting to get it and understand to your point earlier of I'm in business to make money. Not just have revenue showing. I'm in the business of actually netting it. Did you happen to see Dustin Singer's presentation?
I did. Great presentation.
Did you see his chart of where his numbers are? Out of all of those numbers, the one that I was most proud of him for was that beyond all the personal stuff, the business one was all the net difference. It's
crazy.
That impact that he can have with his team, his community, makes a massive difference when you focus on the right things.
You're exactly right. And you laid out the process, and I'm going to lay out this process that I'm going to call Steve Train. We love Steve Train, right? Steve says you got to name everything. And so I named this as I was doing the presentation. This process I've talked about before. I've named it 100 different things, but I named it for this presentation, the straight line wealth formula. And you just hit it. Hustle, secure, expand, exit. Right? And so, what I'm going to teach on stage today and what I'm going to talk about is navigating those realms. And what you talked about, what I've seen so many entrepreneurs do is that straight line formula. There's a reason why it's a straight line. What's the fastest thing between 2 points? It's a straight line, right? And so what we're going to talk about is, hey, when you start in this business, you're going to start as a hustler. We don't have a choice. It just is what it is. That's the 80, 100-hour weeks that we have to grind through, but that's not a forever. That's not a forever sentence unless you skip an important part. And that important part that you're skipping, and that so many of us are skipping, is the secure. See, what we do is we go from hustling to expansion, and then we end back up in hustling. And we end up in this cycle. Well, that cycle is not a straight line. And what the best do, and a lot of times it takes 10, 15, 20 years to figure this out, is, hey, wait a minute. I've hustled like a long time now. How do I get past this? Oh, I got to secure my business. I got to set this foundation up. I got to do all the boring stuff first, and then I can tap on top of that and scale and grow. And now it's much easier. And I don't have the headache. I don't have the stress. I don't have to hire cheap people to get bad results, right? All that kind of stuff.
We saw that breakthrough today. From the stage, Dustin, who was our last guest on the pod here, we saw it was beautiful to see. It doesn't happen overnight. Sometimes as an entrepreneur, you have to be beat over the head for 3 years like Dustin was. Dustin's been a part of this community for 3 years. And he said from the stage that every meeting, I come to these meetings and I hear the same things that are all the fundamentals that I should be doing, all the things I should be tracking, building leaders, all the core things that you need in order to grow and scale responsibly. The key word there, responsibly. Mm-hmm. I saw that breakthrough today and I'm thinking to myself, he's going to impact somebody today. Mm-hmm. Someone's going to see that presentation and say, you know what? I've also been in here for 3 years and I'm stuck still. Yep. Or I've gone back to hustling. I've seen it. It's a vicious cycle where people grow, and they go, all right, I'm going to do this other thing and focus on something else and take away my focus of actually continuing to move up to a point where you're getting to the next part of the of being a business owner versus that hustler.
Yeah.
You talk about this, and I'm so happy for you. Proud of you, man. You just launched your own podcast. Love to support it. And I know that if you're a real estate entrepreneur, you have to make his pod part of your daily routine, your weekly routine. Tell the people where they can find that podcast and what you're talking about on that pod.
Yeah, sure. So the podcast is Strength in Numbers. So we talk about numbers, right? So I'm not going to give you the fluff and all of the great things that go on and doing a bunch of deals and all that stuff. I'm going to give you the numbers. And if you follow me on social media at all, you're going to know that I don't really beat around the bush. I'm going to tell you like it is. And that's what I feel like my job is. And so we have Strength in Numbers for me to be able to relay that information and what's going on in the market. But also we're bringing on guests that will come in and talk about their numbers and how they're having success and some of their failures as well. So I think, join us. We'd love to have you.
So here's what you do. You listen to the CG podcast to listen to the journey of a real estate investor. And then as you're along your own journey, as you're scaling yourself, it is super important to have someone like Marcus in your corner. And clearly you can do that now with this podcast. So listen to the CG podcast to get inspired about the journey, and then listen to Marcus's Strength in Numbers to understand how you actually get to there, because you can't get to there unless you're just independently wealthy.
Sure.
But most people that are listening right now aren't. They're trying to grow something special, and financials is a big part of that.
It's huge.
Thank you for sitting in with us today. Again, we love having you on the pod. In addition to that, I know you're going to bring a ton of value and inspire tons of people in that room here later. I can't wait to see that presentation.
Awesome. Appreciate it, Leon.
All right. So in the future, you can't miss presentations like Marcus's that's coming up here. This is later this afternoon. We're at the CG Select and Elevate event, our October meeting. We're in Dallas every October. We meet with this group January, May, and October. We'd love to see you at our next meeting in January. Best way to do that is go to our website at explorecg.com. There you'll find all the information you need about any of our tiers. If you're a full-time real estate investor, we have the community for you. There's an application process. Go through that at explorecg.com. We'd love to see you at our next meeting. That is it for now. We'll see you on the next live CG podcast.